Welcome everyone to the Undercover Brony Reviews. The episode reviewed today will be Growing Up is Hard to Do, written by Ed Valentine. So Ed Valentine, we have a bit of a batting average for you in terms of your episodes.
Which I just found out about today.
Now, you've written 5 episodes. 3 of them were good, 2 of them were shit.
Or if we wanted to use modern terms, 2 of them were sick and 2 of them were oof.
Yeah. So he wrote Flight to the Finish, Three's a Crowd, The Cart Before the Ponies, The Fault in Our Cutie Marks, and this one. Now, I have to say, I'm at least happy that he's above even, that he didn't just break even. But, yeah.
His bad episodes are... The Cart Before the Ponies and Three's a Crowd are literally my 2 least favorite episodes in this entire show.
Yeah. Which, now, if you guys remember, way back in season 4,
yes.
Three's a Crowd, we definitively said at the time that it was the worst episode of the entire show.
I had it
until 246 Great came out.
I have told this story on this channel several times, but I got a concussion at a mosh pit. So when I had to watch that episode the morning where because we drove, not only did I get the minor concussion, we also drove back that night. I had to watch that episode, and I also had to get on the phone, and I also had to talk to John, and it was like a 20-30 minute review of like a 22-minute pony episode, and I was just, I can't even say I was dead. What's deader than a zombie? What's deader than a reanimated zombie? The Unhollow from Dark Souls.
I'll just call you a liquor. I'll call you a liquor. Will be good.
Yeah, that's how bad that was. And so I wanted to make, I don't know if I ever told you I did this. I went back one day and rewatched it, without the concussion, because I'm like, hey, maybe it was the concussion. But no, it wasn't great. And Cart Before the Ponies, I never want to see that piece of shit again. And but the other 2 episodes are great.
Yeah, and here's the thing. With the Cart Before the Ponies, and trust me, we're getting to this review, don't worry. But the thing with Cart Before the Ponies is that it's an episode that the reason it was a failure was because it was in that specific area or time of the show. If it was something like season 1 or 2, then it would be a whole lot more forgiving. But the fact that it was 6 years of development just thrown out the fucking window.
So, growing up is hard to do. This is the last Cutie Mark Crusaders episode, and then after this one, it's the last actual episode before the 2-part finale, and it's Epilogue. We're almost at the finish line, Jonathan. I honestly can't believe it.
I know.
So the episode starts out. The 3 CMC you see want to go to the equestrian fair. Now I don't know how fairs work in Pony World, but over here, at least like the 2 big fairs near me, are pretty sick because you've got the sketchy rides, you got the cotton candy, you got the shooting galleries with the cheap prizes, you got the beer, you've got deep fried Reese's peanut butter cups.
Deep fried Oreos.
You also have the 2 big ones that are closest to me. You've got big stages where you can see big old shows that have sick concerts. This fair did not have most of that, and that sounds like it sucked. But the CMC really want to go. And so they're like, okay, we planned everything out. We got a full itinerary. They're like, we've got food, we got snacks, we got a plan, we got maxi pads, we're ready to go. And then Sweetie Belle or one of them is like, hey, okay, so now we just need your chaperone. They're like, Scootaloo, where's Rainbow Dash? You mean you didn't ask Rarity? I thought she was gonna ask Apple Bloom. What? My
My
Little
Little
Pony.
Pony.
My Little Pony. And my first thought, maybe I'm just growing old and cynical, but my first thought was,
Which is hard to do, by the way.
really, are you sure? I was like, I'm like, are you sure that's how you want to cold open the show with making the CMC look stupid? Whatever. They haven't remembered how to write them since they got their fucking cutie marks. So they're like, Rarity, do you want to help out? And Rarity, I think, had probably the least best excuse, or Applejack, but she's like, oh, sorry, I gotta get this this set ready for, what you call it, hoity-toity's monocle and top hat club bonanza or some shit.
Yeah, something like that.
And so they're like, well, can't you do it tomorrow? And she's like, well, yes, but you have to keep your promises. And I'm like, hold on. If you could do it the next day and still fulfill the promise, whatever. So then they go to Rainbow Dash, and she's like, sorry guys, weather emergency. And the Wonderbolts are synonymous with the military, so a weather emergency could also somehow be an act of terrorism. So I gotta go. And then they're just like, well, shit, Homeland Security, we're not gonna fuck with that.
We're basically the Coast Guard of the equestrian universe.
So then they go to Applejack, and Applejack's like, sorry, y'all, Big Mac ain't feeling well. Now, Sweetie Belle does raise up the good point. Well, isn't Big Mac old enough to take care of himself? And then Applejack's like, sometimes taking care of someone is more important than having fun. And I'm like, okay, valid. But here's the thing. When I'm sick and can't make it to work, my parents or brother don't not go to work. They go to work. They go to work and they earn that sweet cheddar bacon bread, whatever we call money now.
Let's get this bread.
To be honest, except for Rainbow Dash, I felt they all had pretty shallow. They had shallow excuses. Fluttershy and Twilight probably did too, because then they try to talk to Fluttershy, and she's like, I'm gonna do my accurate Fluttershy impression. Sorry, I'm helping Twilight with books. That's how Fluttershy talks, right? And so she's like, I gotta help him with books. And then they're like, so let me guess, Twilight's busy too. And Twilight's like, sorry guys, I am super busy because we've got the rose from Beauty and the Beast in this in this glass case. Is it the same plant? No, but it's a similar look, and the rose, and I pulled up a picture on Google just to make sure, even though I didn't need to, because I'm the Disney guy and that shit's in my memory. The plant is like curved at the same exact angle almost that the rose is, and the shit with the petals falling, I was like, Dios mío, tus personas locotes. They actually put in a Beauty and the Beast reference in the last season of the show. Brilliant.
By the way, one thing I want to say, kind of going a little bit back, you were when we were talking about the fact that Big Mac got sick. Here's the thing. I'm going to fully admit to you, I'm a big fucking baby when I'm sick. I'm just saying. Big Mac could be like that, where he's hardworking normally, but when he's sick, he just can't do shit.
Okay, yes. But I think you don't have any siblings, but you have a wife. I think both of you would understand if you were like, hey, I want to be here to make sure you don't choke on your own vomit, but at the same time, I gotta go get our goddamn paycheck. And you're just like, hey man, no, that's cool. I'll just sit here and watch Invader Zim and Enter the Florpus on Netflix for like the 12th fucking time. It's so good. So they so they're the CMC are pretty dejected and pissed, and I kind of know what that's like, because when you're a kid and you want to go somewhere, even if it's just like to the store or like the beach or something. And you're like, man, I just want to go, but everyone's busy. You feel like you're being abandoned, but to give all of them credit, even Rarity and Applejack, they do make the point. They don't say this, but the lesson that they're trying to get across in this episode, it's not just that growing up is hard and it's important that you don't skip points in life as you grow up. The idea they're, at least this is how I interpret it, the idea they were trying to get across to me was perspective changes when you get older and get different responsibilities. So like Apple Bloom may be like, she's a little kid, right? So she's like, well, Big Mac, Big Brother Big Mac is like, old. He'll be fine. But then, you get older, and arguably as you get older, some people you soften up a bit and you're like, I don't have to be here maybe, but I want to. Yo quiero Taco Bell. And that's what I was getting from all this. So the three CMC go to the plant and they're like, huh.
They do the Dragon Tales rhyme, okay?
Yeah. And then some shit happens, and then all of a sudden they're taller now.
Bears.
And I wanted to because wait a minute, you're telling me that the CMC, when they get older, look exactly the same. They just have longer hair, like a cheap fan made edit. Do you know how many times on Derpy Brewer or Film Fiction I'd see, oh, here's a spot. Here's a stock pony pose with a swap color palette. Here's a older Sweetie Belle. She looks the same, and she's in that one reusable asset pose. You know, the one where they're stepping forward, but their head's like this and they're like this, like that. Yeah, it's like that.
That's the whole thing's longer. The whole thing of, you're talking about the pose that is on like every fucking coloring book, where it's like Twilight Sparkles pose or whatever.
No, because that's the one where she's like looking up and smiling. I mean the one where the head's kind of looking down and they've got that like sultry look in their eyes.
Oh, that.
Yeah. That. Do you know how many of that? Like, if it was a ship fic with Spike, or if it was some lesbian thing, and they would be aged up, but they look just the same, but their hair is longer. I was so mad. I was like, great, we've canonized the least common denominator. Fantastic.
Well, at least they deepened their voices just slightly, so you could tell that they were older.
Yeah, not deep enough to where they were speaking in their normal speaking voice, but deep enough to where you're like, yeah, they're older, but it's not like jarring, so it made sense from a narrative and aesthetic point of view. So that's nice.
Now, the fact that they become adults and they're just like, holy shit, this is for real. And they're like, we could do whatever we want now. And they do that whole thing where they always put their hooves together, like, yeah. And because they're older and they're taller, they miss their hooves the first time, and then they connect.
They're like, sorry, Miss Jackson, we're grown up for real. So they're running.
Speaking of the song,
I thought you were going to say, speaking of Outcast, and then you were going to bring out Big Boy and Andre 3000 from your closet, which would have gotten me really hyped. That would have been so Kino. Anyway, so
why?
So they're running to the train, or as my people would say, eran corriendo a la traino. So they're running, and they're like, dude, we move so much faster. They're like, yeah, long limbs are sick. There was a reality ensues kind of gag where Skulu's trying to pedal. She's skanking along on her scooter.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but like I think, but and the joke is that she's she's too heavy because it's not built for adult mares as opposed to a young filly, which I thought was kind of funny. And I'm just like, the only thing that would have made this better is if, like, while Applejack and Sweetie Bloom are running, like they trip, like they trip their elongated limbs.
Now, what I love is, going to the scooter for a second. What I love is that it does that zoom in of the wheel, and it's like literally about to fall off. And I was half expecting for it to actually fall off, and then have Scootaloo do like a massive fucking wipeout, and then just be like, "I'm good."
Yeah. So they get to the train station, and
Just in time.
Oh, because by the way, the fair is in Appaloosa, but there was no Brayburn. Talk about fucking edging me. And there's a thing on TV tropes that says shown their work, because they accidentally go to the Hayseed Swamp instead of Appaloosa. And according to TV tropes, on official maps of Equestria, Hayseed Swamp is pretty close to Appaloosa and in the same direction as its relative to Ponyville. So it's perfectly believable the Crusaders could get on the wrong train heading south and end up in the swamp instead of the town and then have to walk some.
I actually thought that they just got up on the wrong stop, because unlike human trains, they don't have like the speaker PA system that's like, this stop, Brand Road, something like that, where it's just like, oh, they couldn't hear the conductor or whatever.
That's also because Equestria is a bunch of communists. So at least okay. I don't know. Depending on which shitposting group you're in, they're either all a bunch of communists or fascists.
There was one that I saw that it was Starlight Glimmer, and it was saying, it was something along the lines of like her back when she was about the equality and shit, when she was evil, and it was basically like, well, it's time to sharpen up the hammer and sickle, or something like that.
Oh yeah. I just had a really funny idea for a Nazi pony, but I don't know what's funnier. Either blue fur and blonde eyes, or blonde fur and blue eyes.
They already have a Nazi mare.
Yeah, Derpy.
Her name's Aryan.
All right. So okay, so like they're walking through the swamp, and then they meet two kids. Their names are let
me look this up real quick.
Their names are Jerry Curl and Little Shit, and they're walking through, and Little Shit's carrying this box with a pet thing. It kind of reminded me of, you ever read Stephen King's Creepshow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's this one about this like, it's like a Wolverine that lives in a box. Well, anyway, that's what this reminded me of. Or wait, did you ever see the movie? You ever see the movie Basket Case?
No.
God damn it! Watch a B movie once in a while. So, what am I talking about? That's
their names were Biscuit and Spur, and their pet is named Bluefy.
I much prefer Jerry Curl and Lil Shit.
Right. Now, one thing we didn't talk about.
Did you say blue like Jurassic World?
No, Bluefy.
That's worse! Okay.
So, going back a little bit, what did you think of the song?
Yeah, no, so overall I liked the song. Like most Cutie Mark Crusaders songs, it kind of gave me a old school pop rock kind of writing. I really hate to be that guy, because I feel like for the 20 years, whatever the show's been on, I've been fairly good about not being an elitist about some things. But I gotta be honest with you, since we're in the end game, looking back, I think as far as songs go, the CMC capped out at Hearts as Strong as Horses.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Just you know, and I watched that show 4 years at that point, and honestly, most of the best songs in the show were in those first 4 years. So, let me see. Okay, but yeah, no, song was fine. Do you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was good. The instrumentation was on point as usual.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the lyrics were not like. I like it when lyrics of songs are not only talking about something specific, but also the words of those lyrics are intelligent, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, they're not like overly simplified.
Exactly. And that's exactly what the song did. So yeah, I liked it.
Because I don't think people understand that kids can actually interpret bigger words and meanings, just not the way we do. For now, when we're adults, we look for literal interpretations. When we're kids, we're like, okay, what does this mean with this other thing? Like we use kids use other things to figure out what things mean. They come to mostly the same conclusions, but it's not like, what is the correct theoretical definition of that term or whatever. Okay, so unless they're a nerd in a 90s kids movie for some reason. The ones they had like the big rim glasses and like they carried around fucking calculators for no
You
reason.
mean the Woody Allen glasses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to Biscuit and Spur with Bluefy.
Biscuit. Okay. So Biscuit and Spur, they're like, damn, you older folks are cool. You want to walk with us to this fair?
And no, seriously. Like, now I'm thinking you brought it to my attention. When you were just like, Biscuit, seriously? I'm thinking, you want chicken?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Make sure it got no meat, no cheese. So no vegetables. Oh, so what the fuck you want on it? Biscuit. Trust me, it'll come out good. I've watched those fucking Baku videos, like each one like a million times. So it's like it's one of the best told stories on YouTube. Lil Broomstick is one of the great characters of our generation. He's up there with Tyrion Lannister, with Walter White, with BoJack Horseman, with Rose from The Last Jedi. I'm kidding. That's a lie. That was a lie I told you on that last one.
Okay, no, but seriously.
Yeah, okay.
Go. I don't know. Do you still have that Let's Play video up?
No, that was on my old channel. No.
Because he did a video where he was making those jokes during the Crash Insane trilogy.
Yeah.
He was gonna do a Let's Play of it during the loading screens. He was doing that. Yo, can I get a chicken?
I don't know. I still have the videos on my computer. I might still try to do that Let's Play thing one day. I still have the gear for it, but I don't know. It's just things weren't lining up, and I don't really have the time for games now because I don't have the time to like do the whole creative Let's Play process because I've been doubling down on my music. So, so yeah, they follow Biscuit and Bumfuck into the forest, and they come up to the fair. And it's the thing, they're eating cotton candy. They're doing stuff, socializing. Biscuit and Beauregard get talked to by the Southern gal who's like, oh, well, my goodness, is there a fascinating little crit. You ever notice when people write Southern characters, they say informal words, but they say a lot of words in their sentences?
And they also say critter.
But because but for some reason, because it's in a Southern accent, it doesn't feel nearly as out of place or as long. Like if I were to tell you something that like a Southern character in literature or a narrative thing would say, where it's like, oh, well, I do declare, John, I think that there's a mighty fine late cutout. I reckon that cost you about a mighty $1.50. That sounds stupid, but I say it in a Southern accent. Oh, well, I do declare, Jonathan, that there's a modifying cut out there, a link. It must have cost you a strong $1.50. It sounds charming. I don't know what it is.
Well, here's what's funny.
People not in America always joke about how Americans have a thing for accents, and yeah, I don't know why.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's actually a show that I watch. It's literally about murders and stuff that have happened in the South. I kid you not, the show is literally called Southern Fried Homicide.
Are you kidding? No, fuck you. That's degrading. Not degrading. That's just stupid. I tell you what, nothing is cooler to me than when a Southern character explains science stuff, but they use the actual words. They're like, well, if you look through the microscope right there, you'll see that the microorganism began to congeal upon the postohydrate and all these big old words. I'm like, yes, keep talking to me. So, at the fair,
keep talking to me with that voluptuous voice.
ASMR my ass right now.
Oh, right.
So they tell them, hey, you should take your critter to the thing because there's a dog show. It's not a dog show, but that's what it is. And there's a theme throughout the episode where I think they're siblings, and the one with the hair that looks kind of like Cozy Glow's hair is the whole time like, dude, the pet's never been in front of a lot of people before. No, out in public, let alone in front of a crowd. This is a bad idea. But the boy is like, you're stupid. So they go to the thing, and S gets effed up in the A, my boys.
Now, a couple things I want to mention here before everything goes to shit. First of all,
and a lot goes to shit.
The dog show is literally you repurposed.
Can almost call it a dog and pony show.
They literally repurposed the buckball field for that.
Yeah, they did. I thought I was imagining that. But yeah, they totally reused its assets. It's not a problem, but I thought I noticed it. I was just like, oh my stars and stripes.
Now, here's what's interesting though. You're taking a stadium and just transforming it into another stadium. You know what I mean? Like, instead of a sport, it's a dog show. You're still using the stadium for something.
I know. I saw all those reused assets. I'm like, is this Kingdom Hearts?
Right.
So, yeah, using PlayStation 2 graphics for literally, when was the last game? 13 years before they were like, all right, we'll go next gen.
And then here's what's interesting. This creature is literally looks like a fucking, what is it, a corgi?
You know, we were saying last week out.
No, it's not a corgi. I forget what breed of dog it is, but it looks like a breed of dog.
You know, we were talking last week about how Ali Zodal probably had like one of the most unique character designs in the whole show. I've never seen anything like this thing before.
Even the fucking Puckwudgies or whatever.
It looked like a Parasprite just having a really bad day.
Right?
So
it's what you could call a bad fur day.
So a thing happens, and the critter, I forgot what they called it, but it kind of acts like the what were those things called? What was that movie? Gremlins? Yeah, they kind of act like that movie Gremlins, but instead of, you know, not feeding it after a certain hour and getting it wet, it's don't put it in a very stressful public situation. And then instead of turning into a monster, it turns into a giant monster tornado. It turns into a sharknado, but no sharks.
With its little head still popping out the top of it.
Yeah, it looked like some wacky meme you'd see for like Report of the Week.
It's
So,
like, damn, when did the Care Bears actually get some superpowers?
oh, bro, you telling me that the Care Bear stare don't make you weak in the knees?
Oh, Fluttershy can stare them down any day. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Now here's a couple references that I noticed. They made a Wizard of Oz reference
Yes.
because one of the characters is dressed like Dorothy with a dog that looks like Toto. And
Yes.
then the CFC is like, we can't let it suck anything more. And a cow goes by. I'm like, God damn, they actually made a fucking Twister reference. Because you know they would.
Yeah.
Because wasn't that like one of the big moments where you see a cow go in the Twister?
Yeah, I think it was a cow. I don't know. I just know that sometimes barnyard animals can be really funny.
Yeah.
Just like that was always one of the things about Invader Zim was just because they would just randomly like throw pigs into things. Like I thought there was an episode where like just Zim throws a pig at Dib, and it's just really fun. Did you ever see District 9?
No, but I heard it was really good.
I think this is the movie I'm thinking of. I thought it was District 9. There's a part where Duke gets this like cybernetic armor or whatever, and he like levitates a pig and throws it at an enemy, and it just obliterates the enemy and the pig. And I'm like, this is so weird, but this is like this is really funny and awesome and dumb. And I don't know, sometimes pigs and cows could just be really funny as well as tasty. So,
Yeah.
how did Fluttershy and no, yeah, why and
So
how did Fluttershy and Twilight get there again?
okay, so Fluttershy and Twilight were working on trying to figure out what was going on with this flower. And Fluttershy was like, Twilight was like, hey, Fluttershy, can you come see if any of your animal friends know what this is? And they didn't, but she goes with Twilight anyway. And they're like, apparently they found out that it was a wishing flower. So they were like, can you imagine if they wished themselves here? Or, and then Fluttershy makes something that's really oddly specific, like meme worthy specific. And it was like,
Yeah.
and it's like, so I can imagine that they wish themselves to be adults so they could get over here.
Huh.
It's like, okay, that sounds like trying to get to the fair with extra steps.
Yeah, which whatever. So they get there and they don't say this, but they're essentially like, yo, what the hell happened? And the CMC are like, we did a thing and it broke a thing, and now there's a thing doing things. And then Twilight's just like, and then she fixes it. Like it's over in like 30 seconds. She doesn't like just do the whole, magic blast and it fixes everything, but that's kind of what she does.
No, not really. She's like, Fluttershy finds out what the creature is, and they bring what's her
Oh, yeah,
name?
yeah,
They bring Spur over.
yeah,
And
to talk him. They Steven Universe it, and they're just like, hey, let's just talk it out.
not talk it out, not talk it out, not talk it out.
You don't understand. Every bad guy has been defeated in Steven Universe by Steven just talking to him. I understand the message, Rebecca Sugar, but come on.
Diplomacy 100.
That's that show. That's that show. That show is Diplomacy 100 if that meme was its own show.
Yes. So then, of course, they have to wish themselves back to being foals. And I love the reaction from Biscuit and Spur. They're like, wait a sec. So you guys are actually younger than us? What the hell?
That's right, they were younger. I forgot about that. They're just like, oh yeah, no, we're yeah. And they're just like, well, I'll be a son of a gun.
My little
Well, sort of. They fix the flower. They get turned back to normal. And they're like, "Hey, look, man, I know this wasn't the best, but like, could we like hang out again sometime?" And they're like, "Sure. Just make sure you bring an adult, have an adult take you." And they're like, "Ha ha ha ha! Oh, Scoob." Da, 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 da,
Yeah,
mine.
yeah. So, yeah. Overall, it was a fun episode. I liked it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, overall not too bad. I got I can't get over how close we are to the end. That's what my mind keeps coming back to. It's just the whole time. Like I feel like it's undermined my opinion for this episode, the next one, and the last few, because I'm just like, God, I just can't wait to get to the end. Not because I want this to be over, but because I'm just like, dude, that I just have a feeling that finale is going to be off the freaking chain.
Mm.
But overall,
Yeah.
I give this episode an 8. It was a very strong, pretty good, nothing too great. I remember when the CMC got their Cutie Mark years ago, and everyone was like, "Man, now they're not going to have any more good episodes." I'm like, "Shut up! You're being a hater." But like,
Yeah.
I'm not
So,
saying they're correct, but I'm not saying I'm not wrong either.
yeah.
Like,
I give I give this an 8 as well. This was a fun episode. Thankfully, at Valentine, you did good with this one. Um, so yeah, I mean, it was good. It was serviceable. It fulfilled what it needed to. Now, next week's episode, it is legit going to be there's say ships that will be sailing.
yeah, and we're not talking like, oh, we're loading it up. Oh, we're gonna set sail from harbor. No, no, no. I mean ships leaving harbor, crossing the ocean, and docking at the port that is called Cannon Port.
Okay.
Big
Next.
Macintosh
Uh
and Sugar Bell are going to propose to each other to get married. Can you say John and Katie?
So it says when Big Mac and Sugar Bell decide to propose to each other, everything their friends do to help ends up making a mess of the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just waiting for Sugar Bell just to be like, fuck it. Will you fucking marry me?
I don't think she's gonna say that, but I'm sure there
Or
will
something
be.
to that effect.
I'm sure it will be the TVY7 equivalent.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Oh man. So yeah, can't wait for that one. I guess we will see ya all then.
all right. So that's it from me, John.
And me, Snakeskin.
And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, Dragon.
Adios.